Well, hello there. This is Dan Hadaway. You may remember me from the webinar that your bank put on about small business security. And if you remember, what we felt like the first step should be is to conduct a risk assessment, looking at technology and your use of technology across the board, across the whole enterprise. Technology permeates the organization now. It's in all aspects of our lives. And so we want to try to pinpoint what we can do first, second, third, fourth, on a prioritized basis so that we can take the 80-20 rule towards information security, so to speak, and address the issues that mitigate the most risk. And I just wanted to show you one of the deliverables. I feel like it's probably the most important deliverable that you can get from the resources page that your bank made available to you off of the bank's website. And so when you open this document, what you find here is just a set of questions that on the surface might look difficult. They might look like, boy, I don't know if I know the answers to these. And so we want you to kind of take your best guess and then just document the purpose, what you're meaning when you take your guess. And so if you feel like you're doing a good job at it, go ahead and enter a 1 in here. Or if you don't feel like it applies to you, which, I'm thinking that there may be something that doesn't apply to you. For an example, if you don't have any customer data that you're collecting, or if you don't collect any electronic protected health information, any questions about EPHI is what it's called, electronic protected health information, which is what doctors' offices and insurance companies and, those sorts of businesses collect. If you don't collect any, then you'd be able to put a 1 in here, and that would mean that that issue isn't applicable to you. And so just real quick, I'm going to go through this. Is the risk assessment being conducted by a multidisciplinary team? Well, what I'm hoping is that you go back to your office and you actually have your group, your management team, the people that are helping you run your company, gather around this and doing this together. If it's just me, no, just the president, they don't have time or whatever, well, then you can't put a 1 in here. Okay, and so that's going to factor into your risk score so that you can decide kind of in relationship to other businesses, how are you doing? You should have, used qualified personnel to set up your firewall. Now, I feel like most small businesses probably use a firewall that has been set up by a qualified person. And so I'm going to say that, yeah, we'll probably give you one there. Are you using 2 different antivirus systems or just one? Most small businesses aren't using 2. We kind of a big believer if you're only using 1, well, then you're not getting it all done. But if you are using 1, we're going to say that, yeah, you are using 1 and you had, your network support provider. if they're suspicious of something. We don't know, who they should call. Most small businesses aren't using two-factor authentication for a lot of stuff, but they're being required to, I hope. And I don't know, I hope your bank is requiring you to use two-factor authentication into banking sites where you're transferring information. I'm hoping that your bank has strongly encouraged you to reconcile your accounts on a regular basis. It's so much easier now, we have all this real-time reconciliation, but boy, we better check it regularly, even if we only need to monthly, because of the fact that, boy, a lot can happen in a month. So, this is kind of this, I've just kind of went through here pretending to answer stuff, and because I wanted to show you the risk score. And so this particular organization, if you were answering the questions the way I was answering, you do have some high risk. You need to address, the missing issues soon. You should take a look at what you didn't put a 1 in, and decide, what you're going to do about that, because 183 is rather close to the holy cow, level. So this is the highest level of risk. Where most smaller businesses really want to be is as close to 50 as you can get. Really under 50 is where you should be, especially if you have regulated information. If you are a bank, you would be way under 50. If you are a healthcare operation, you probably are heading into the 50 range now. But if you're a small business, most small businesses are unfortunately right squarely in this range here, meaning that they need to do more to secure themselves, or they're fooling themselves. And the worst kind of security is a false sense of security. So I hope this helped you when it came to learning how to fill out this form. Thank you very much.